What's up, everybody? Arrg The Pirate here, and today I'm going to be checking out Feng Mao's rework in the Offlane. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have Auto Health Potion, Mana Generator, Healing Towers, Mana Reactor, Damage Return, and Improved Health Regen for my gems. Now for my cards, I have Call the Weak, Exoskeleton, Green Spring, Possess Sprykin, Growth Totem, Guard Piercer, Swift Hunter, Vital Waters, Thunder Cleaver, Numbing Rogue, Unbroken Spirit, and the Sacrificial Link, whatever the name of that is. This is actually my second match with Feng. Our first match was played right before this one, and they surrendered right at 15 minutes. You know, we weren't doing just amazing, but we were just slaughtering them. So they ended up quitting. You know, and instead of actually posting that video, I said, hey, I'm going to go try to get some more gameplay so I can see the end game. Because, yeah, we were still fairly low level. Now, one thing that the first change I've seen with Feng is his animation when he's swinging his little stick with the knife on the end of it, whatever it's called. And, you know, it took me a while to get used to, and I gotta say, I'm still not really used to it. It feels very weird, and the range seems much shorter, but that might just be me, you know, just seeing something different than what I'm used to. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, his animation when he swings is a little bit different. I have started out with his Reaping Dash, and his Reaping Dash has changed to where it used to be like almost like Gideon's teleport. You know, you would use it and you kind of blinked forward. Now it's almost like an instant teleport. It feels much faster, and to be quite honest, I think it's a little strong because as Feng, you can actually stay out of range of Twin Blast, teleport to him, poke him a little bit, turn around and run around before anybody really knows what's going on. And I do actually do that a few times in this match, so we can definitely show that. They also have changed where the layouts of his, you know, abilities were. Of course, Hamstring has, you know, it's been changed and it's now that passive on E, but Q, which is his overshield, used to be right click, and Reaping Dash was probably Q or something like that. And now Reaping Dash is his right click, and it feels much better being this way. And, you know, to be honest, I really wish we could customize where our abilities were, but hey, it is what it is. And you know, I think Reaping Dash being on that right click is much better, even though, you know, I've never played Feng just an entire lot, but I was used to, whenever I played him, this is how I played him. So it's going to take some little bit of adjustment, but no problem at all. Now, our Rampage does end up heading over and kind of chases this Twin and Steel out. You know, they do have wards, so they were already at a good distance before he actually, you know, came and actually headed over. And I did not realize he was actually going to chase that, but, you know, really at this level, this time, you know, there's no need to chase something like that. But, you know, I go in to help out a little bit. And you can see that Reaping Dash, it's a lot faster. And it's got a little more range. So I really enjoy that skill. I really think that's a very, very good skill. So, you know, it makes Feng feel better than he used to. And, you know, now, since they've also reduced, or since they've made it where you can get these last hits just very, very easy, you know, I gotta say, being the offlaner has never been easier. I thought the offlane was in one of the best spots it's ever been in since Monolith released. And with the new passive Call of the Week, it's now easier than ever to get farm. You know, I am at, what, 16 farm, 15 farm at 4 minutes in. That's really good. You know, for being an offlaner, I would say that's above average. Or, you know, of course, what it used to be. And you know, they have done a decent job of slowing the lane at the beginning, where I would be much higher. In that first match, I was actually out farming the ADC as the offlaner, and I wasn't, you know, doing anything special. I was just doing my typical farming stuff. So it's, I don't know, this buff, it seemed to have or the Call of the Week change seemed to have buffed the offlaners, which this and that last match are the first matches I've played as an offlaner since version 44. And yeah, you know, I gotta say, the Twin Blast is absolutely no threat to me at this point. You know, of course, I do have Possessed Sprykin on, but I'm more fed than he is, you know, and it really kind of, you know, all in all boils down to the offlaner has to be strong enough to compete against the support and the ADC in the beginning of the game. And that's where you get that level advantage from. That's where you get playing cautiously and waiting and buying time until you can get those last hits. And when the huge minion wave does come in, because they did such a good job of freezing, staying in the back and sacrificing damage on your tower to stay alive, you know, that's where that play type really comes in. But with these changes, you know, you don't have to play that way anymore. And it feels, in a way, I feel bad for the support in the ADC. Of course, support still is very strong right now. It just takes them a while to come online. But, you know, even with this Twin Blast rework, you know, you see this poke that he's doing to me, and with a card like Possessed Sprykin, in no time I'm going to be healed back up. And you can see I'm healing through the poke that he's doing. I don't know if this is an issue with Possessed Sprykin, an issue with or just an issue with the way that the game is paced, but getting a Possessed Sprykin on at 4 minutes seems very early for an offlaner. Now, of course, since I am at the point of, you know, being able to tank a lot of these ADC hits, I want to play hyper aggressive and just really see what I can do. I really want to compare myself to this Twin Blast, and you can see he's really got nothing for me at this point. I don't know if he just isn't hitting me, isn't aiming quite right, or, you know, he might still be learning the hero. This was recorded on day 1 of V44, so, you know, it might be one of those type of changes, but we are able to survive a lot of this. And like I said, their steel is not doing the best job of zoning me out, which is, you know, allowed me to get a lot more fed than I, you know, should be. But you can see, here's that amazing poke that I'm talking about with Feng. I'm able to dash in, get a good chunk of damage off onto that twin. You saw, you know, he got very low, and I'm still at full health. And again, I'm just going to kind of farm up this minion wave. You know, Steel missed his bash right there. Or what were they calling it? The shield bonk. And, you know, I'm just going to kind of farm this up, wait for this Twin Blast, and then I'm going to kind of do my Reaping Dash, go in, hit him a couple of times, and you can see I'm just, with that poke, even though Steel did stun me, if I'd have been able to hit him a couple more times, I would have definitely been able to execute him. And this is the power of Feng. You can see I'm able to head in, get that execute off, and head back out fairly safe. And, you know, this kind of gives a fighter a poke ability in a sense, because you could, you know, go use your shield, go in, do your poke, and then get out. And, you know, it's on a fairly short cooldown, so you can kind of do that pretty quickly. So I really like this, but with the amount of damage I'm able to do at the moment, you know, you saw that Twin Blast, he's not able to stop that. You know, he can't get really out of range of me either, because they've increased the range on Reaping Dash. So I'm not exactly sure. We'll definitely have to wait and see if a few little changes happen or something like that. Feng does feel very strong right now, though. You can see in just that one ability and those 2 attacks, I'm able to take Twin down to almost 50%. So I'm definitely kind of running away at this point, and we're just, not even 10 minutes in. Now I'm gonna really start getting into this gameplay now and, do my typical fast forward stuff. Now, I did get another poke on that Twin Blast, if you saw there. We're able to do our dash in, but Twin Blast is not backing, so I'm gonna go ahead and dive him in. You see, I got that Q to execute him. I'm able to, dive in and take him out, and then I get out myself. This was, that was a great play, and I probably could stick around and heal back up, but with Kallari, I just want to get out. And their Kallari did use her ult not that long ago, so it might be getting close to getting off cooldown. I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go ahead and back and throw on some other cards, which I needed to do anyways. Now, I'm not a fan of the execute icon, the big red skull, and after watching this play, and doing my editing on it, I see it and it's like, wow, I don't like that even more now. Because I had no idea I'd be able to kill that half-health Twin Blast. But I've got this big execution indicator saying, hey, yeah, you can. Now, Feng is the first person with this on him, and even if they put this ability on pretty much everybody, like if Kallari got an indicator that says, hey, you can ult to this guy and kill them with your ult, or something like that, I wouldn't be a fan of that no matter what. It feels very cheap. It feels very just dumbed down. It feels like you don't need to be skilled with your hero because we will tell you when to attack. And I might be, a little too harsh on it, but that's just honestly how I feel about this situation, or about this new ability, and I'm not a fan of it at all, guys. So, and like I said, even if they made it with every other hero, I just wouldn't be a fan. Now, I did use my Reaping Dash and go in on that Twin Blast there. I wanted to see how much damage it would do, instead of actually killing him. And you saw it chunked him down pretty good. That's half health with, Reaping Dash, which I gotta say is quite a bit stronger than it used to be. Reaping Dash was always deceiving with how much damage it did. Now, we are able to dive that Twin Blast again, and again, we're able to take him out. Rampage goes in on that Steel. He's able to take Steel out, and now let's take this tower. There's no reason not to take this tower. And sure enough, we clear this wave out, and me and Rampage are able to. Now, I probably really should use this opportunity after I down this tower to back. I've got quite a few points to spend, and I could definitely throw on something like Thunder Cleaver, but, I don't. I head to mid lane, try to get this lane pushing, and, you can see this Kallari here. Now, Kallari is using the Deathlink card, the Serux Initiate. I've actually got this card in this deck, and she is using that, but, she's going against a fairly tanky team, and when she is using it, if she goes in on our Rampage with it, she's actually dying before Rampage does. So, really, guys, that build is no longer viable for Kallari. Sure, it's a very trolly build, but, you are much better off building damage than building, just this weird kind of card that you go invisible and walk around people with. Because when you do actually have to get into a fight, you offer nothing. Your basic damage is just not there. And when you need to be in the fight to help your team out, all you can do is use that link and run away. And if that link's on cooldown, you're just an easy target. Now, I am just going to shove this lane against the enemy team. You can see I'm going in on Twin Blast, getting a little bit of poke. We actually force that Steel ult out. I end up picking up purple buff, and I'm kind of running around looking for a kill. Twin Blast is by himself, but he ends up actually dipping out there. And I'm just kind of running around going, okay, well, what can we do? Do we want to get Fangtooth? And we have a little bit of an indecision on our team side. So, we aren't quite making the plays that we should, but it's quite alright. I like I said, I'm just kind of running around looking for things to do because I am pushing this safe lane, or the enemy safe lane, or our off lane. I am pushing it like crazy. And, you know, I really want to start rotating and things like that. And since this lane is freed up, you know, we should be able to do that. You know, Rampage heads over, and so we're not really able to set this lane the way I'd like. But that's quite alright. I'm going to, you know, kind of look around and see if we can make a play happen elsewhere. We're doing a fairly decent job with the tower game so far. You know, our safe lane is the only tower that hasn't fallen yet. But hopefully we can get some, you know, a little more presence on that side. They are facing a Wukong. Apparently Wukong's, he's pretty tough right now. So I haven't really faced him, you know, once we're fully built, you know, hey, no problem. Now this is one thing, I do have that kill indicator onto that Bellica. And you can see her shield actually, you know, her auto shield was able to absorb the, you know, killing blow from that. So that execute mark does not figure in for auto shields. It's just straight up kills. But you could see Bellica was at 50% health and it said I could execute her. You know, that does seem a little bit high for me. You know, I am at rank 3 with my ultimate and everything like that, but still that seems fairly high for me. But, you know, hey, no problem. Now me and Rampage were able to go in on this steal, go in on this, you know, Wukong right here. I'm not doing a whole lot of damage at this point because all I do have is Possessed Sprykin, but that's quite alright. If I didn't, you know, I used that ult earlier, if I would have had it there, we would have definitely got that Wukong kill. And, you know, hey, no problem. We'll kill him later. And we're gonna just try to push this lane, but once Bellica shows back up, I say, hey, you know, let's just get out of here. It's not safe being here. We do have a full team presence, and we probably could have shoved that lane down their throats, but let's get out. You know, they're here. We can go secure another objective. And, of course, this means Fangtooth. Now, I've had a lot of people talk about Fangtooth, and some are saying it's game-breaking, some are saying, you know, it's just a pain. I think it is an absolute amazing thing. I really enjoy it. I think if you're getting to, you know, 3 or 4 Fangtooths in a match, I don't think you're... The reason you're going to lose that match is not because of you losing Fangtooths like crazy. The reason, you know, that match is probably not going your way is because your team is not coordinating enough to actually counter that. You could see right there. They might have been able to secure Fangtooth, but they had 3 people rotate in, staggered, and then they have their Steel and their Twin Blast pushing our, you know, off lane. So, which they're actually able to punish us for taking Fangtooth. Fangtooth cost us a tier 2. So, you know, this was a great punishment on their side. And sure, you know, we got Fangtooth, we got 4 power and 1,000 gold, but we lost a tier 2 for it. So we lost our jump pads, and, you know, sure, we're able to actually wrap up both these kills, but, you know, that's really on their team's side. They did a great job in punishing us, and we did a great job of punishing them back. But you can see, this is what I'm talking about. Fangtooth did not cause us to win this. Our team's coordination caused us to win this. You can see FaZe, Sparrow, me, we all head over there to deal with that. We were all stacked up to go for Feng. Their team was split up with less communication than us, and this is why we're able to turn this around. Now with Wukong here, you know, I am a little bit worried, but I'm going to go ahead and go in on this tower. We do have FaZe in case I need to get pulled out. And sure enough, I get trapped on that minion, and then Bellica knocks up, but FaZe is able to jerk me out, no problem. And we got a chunk of damage on that tier 2, of course. It's nothing like downing it, but a good amount of damage. And me going in actually, you know, freed our Sparrow up to just straight up, you know, tee off on that. And that's really what we want. We didn't want any of their team focused on to our Sparrow. We wanted them focused on me. This does allow me to head back to base, and I go ahead and switch out Growth Totem. Now, I go ahead and head back to base, and I'm able to put on Unbroken Spirit and Thunder Cleaver. Now, we are only 20, about 23, 24 minutes into the match, and I'm already at this build. This was a later game build. Of course, I do have that Sacrificial Link card, but this was I wouldn't really get to this build until, 30, 35 minutes. So we're already 5 minutes ahead of where we typically should. I am doing fairly well with kills, so I've gotten some farm with that. But I'm at 141 minion farm. I'm very well fed for being an offlaner. Now, we did get a rotation at this Fangtooth. I'm going to go ahead and take out their initiate. We have not been communicating very well as a team this match, even though we are in a 5-stack. I did not realize that everybody was backing at that point, or I probably wouldn't have went in on that. Now, Kallari uses the coward's way of killing people and links me and just follows behind me. Sure, this is a strategy, but, I am really not a fan of this card at all. Whether it's on Steel or, sure, I've got it in this deck. This is actually my Steel deck, and it feels a lot more rewarding on Steel because, you can turn a fight around, but Steel's not a killer. And putting it on someone like Kallari where you can just go invis and run circles around the enemy you're fighting, it doesn't feel good to die that way. And in all honesty, it should not feel good to kill people that way. You should feel like a coward if you're killing people that way. And that's really just not what I expect out of Paragon, but, is what it is. Now, I am able to take out that tier 2, and you can see that Pelika just runs right past me, so I'm going to run right past her. They had a pretty decent team collapse on that inhib, so just need to be careful of that. Now, Kallari has come to mid. Rampage does get that stun off, but, we're just not able to take her out. She does have quite a bit of sustain at the moment. And without getting some more solid CC and having a little more damage on my hero, I'm just kind of struggling with damage. Now, they do get a pretty decent team collapse in mid. We probably really shouldn't have been there. They were all just at that inhib. But I thought we were going to have a little bit more. Rampage, he got stunned before he could actually get that ult off. So that paired with Wukong's Numbing Rogue, it really kind of hurt us, and we probably shouldn't have been in there. But, hey, is what it is. It is careless death, and, that was really a careless play. Now, Pelika was going over the head on to that Sparrow, and, I just decided, hey, I'm going to start this fight just so she can't get a knock-up onto Sparrow. We are able to take out this Steel, which, I really thought we were going to be able to actually get out of that. I didn't think I was in range, but I was. Now their Twin Blast is running, and I didn't realize my team was staying engaged on to, I think it was a Kallari. They're able to take out that Kallari, and then we actually end up going in onto this Wukong, and Wukong really probably should have got out. We had a lot of damage there, and sure enough, we're able to execute him as well. Now, Feng's ultimate feels so much better than the old version as well. Not just for the execute, it feels much crisper, much smoother, much faster. When you click it, it's boom, you do it. And I gotta say, I like that. The older one, I missed his old ultimate all the time. Because, it felt delayed. This new one, it definitely feels up to speed with the current movement speed of Paragon. Now, our team splits up. Rampage goes to solo Fangtooth, and the rest of the team heads over to take out Prime. With, 4 of their heroes down right there, or 3 or 4. They really couldn't contest that, especially with, all of our lanes pushed very well. Now, Twin Blast does head over. I'm going to chase him a little bit and say, hey, you know what? Let him get away. Let's go ahead and push some lanes. Let's not waste Prime. Let's really get some lanes pushed. He could be a huge distraction for us, and we just really don't need that right now. Now, we get a pretty decent split push going. I'm, of course, in my off lane. We're pushing this pretty well. We've got Gideon dealing with our safe lane because it was pushing against us, and then the rest of my team is all in mid. And you know, once Gideon gets that really wrapped up over there, he's going to head over and actually help out the team. He was just setting that so we didn't start losing tier 2s for it. Now, my team is rotating over, and you can see this Wukong gets out of position. We're able to go ahead and execute him. Just, hey, let's get him out. He's going to be huge. You know, he can stay under tower and really either crank out damage or delete those waves. From here, we're going to go in. Now, I say, hey, let's kill some heroes. I'm not too worried about the tower. We should be able to take out the tower, especially with FaZe here healing me. You know, no problem at all. We end up taking out Steel. Now, Bellica, you know, she gets a pretty good knock-up on us, but we're able to take her out as well. The new tower, I don't really like the single target laser. I would much prefer the, you know, the wave, but the single target laser, you know, it hurts, guys. And if you've only got one inhib down, it's going to hit you for harder than if you have more than one. You can see the cowardly Kallari is using her little link to, you know, hurt Rampage, and she ends up having to run away because, for whatever reason, she's linked to Rampage. But we end up getting this other inhib down, and then from here we're going to take this last inhib. Now, I really want to kill Kallari, but, you know, hey, she's going to get out. She's not really a threat, though, since she has no damage at all. You know, she's not really a threat. All she's got is that link, and we know it's on cooldown right now. Unfortunately, they don't allow us to win. You know, what do you expect? When you're playing against a team that's running a sacrificial Kallari, they're probably not the most nice people. So, it is what it is, guys. You can't win them all, but hey, we got close this time. Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Like I said, I've got a couple of complaints about Feng, but he feels very solid. And, you know, hey, he has for a while now, and it hasn't changed. But thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy, show me some love. Leave me a comment, think about subscribing, join our Discord if you haven't done it already. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.